Welcome, everyone. I'm Robin Smith from Rock Your Relationship Sisterhood and my YouTube channel. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're interested in joining my Facebook group, I will leave the link below. I'm here tonight because I did put a Q&A, a call for questions, basically, in my Facebook group. And I have several questions I'm going to be answering today. So if you want to be in that group so you can put your questions in there, check that link below if you're on YouTube or somewhere else. So let's dive into these questions that came in. First question is, when my husband has the face, tone, and body mechanics indicating something is not right, yet he says he's fine, how do I respond? Thank you for this question. And so great noticing, right? There's an incongruence here. There's a lack of alignment with his expression and his physicality. And I would respond with exactly what you're noticing. So you don't have to judge it and make it right or wrong, good or bad. You can just say, I notice that you say you're fine, but what I sense from you feels really different. I notice whatever I'm noticing in your tone and your face. And just describe what you're noticing. And then the ball's in his court and just let him know. Or maybe you have an emotion that goes with that. I'm feeling frustrated because I don't feel congruency here, or because I don't know if I can believe you because I'm getting mixed messages. So I would leave it with really owning your own experience, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, and not making any judgments at all. And just let him know how you're responding to that and see what he has to say. And please come back and let us know how that went for you. Sometimes people don't want to speak the truth. They're concerned that they're going to not have the response they want. So they hold back, and that, who knows if that's what's happening. But you can let him know what you want too. That would be another thing. I would love to know if that's true, if that's what you're really feeling. And you can just question it a little bit if you feel that's a safe place to do that. Okay, moving on to question number 2. Finding it really challenging to get the spark back. I don't know if it ever really comes back like it used to be, but mustering up the want to is hard for me. And again, thank you for this question. I know you're in a long-term relationship, and how to get the spark back and how to want to get the spark back. I'm sure you're not alone in this one at all. And you say, finding it really challenging to get the spark back. Have you talked to your husband about this one? Is there a mutual feeling that you both want the spark back? So for one, I think it would be great to just have a conversation about it, so it doesn't feel like it's all on you or you're alone in this, if that is true for you. And 2, I've got two more things. So the second one for now is to start really noticing the little things that you appreciate about him, whether it's a way he did his hair, or a shirt he's wearing, or something he did around the house, or a way he was with your kids. So adding appreciation can help you feel more attracted to him. And that's what I notice when I'm appreciating my husband, Patrick. I'm noticing the little things, and then it feels like a magnet, like we're drawn closer together. And I'll often notice, sometimes I don't say it all the time, like today I really noticed, like, wow, his cheekbones are really showing and he looks really youthful right now. And I didn't say it because he was in the middle of telling me something, but those kinds of things, like, wow, you're looking really attractive right now, or I love how your eyes match your shirt, or wow, it's kind of sexy the way you just put your hand on your hip. So any little thing that sometimes you don't think to say can be really helpful to say, and then that can create a spark between you. So that's the second one. The third one is there are a lot of cool games that you can play as a couple. You can make games up that are more physical. You can do wrestling. You can play tag. Stuff that's kind of fun and youthful to get the energy up between you. There's also a lot of like board games for couples, and card games for couples that are sort of like truth or dare, or intimacy invoking questions. And and challenges. And so I don't have any of the names off the top of my head, but I know there's a lot. And I would encourage you to check that out. And maybe you guys choose together, or maybe you give it as a gift, but find something, ways to play together. I listened to a talk recently where someone was, I don't even remember the details now, but some kind of bedroom game like running around the room and hiding behind the bed, and just silly stuff, or maybe like a spin the bottle, or you have to take an item off and then you have a kiss, or and you can just play that with each other. So it could be some fun ways to play and again feel the fun together, because that fun to me is a way that we have a spark. And with the fun comes a feeling of connection and joy and openness. And so those are my thoughts for you, those three things: appreciation, the game, and having the conversation. All right, I hope that's helpful. Let's move on to the third question. My son is 21, lives with us, does nothing around the house, and works for my husband when he feels like it. He struggles with depression and anxiety with suicidal ideation. So this is, pretty serious. And I am not an expert on suicidal ideation, nor am I a parenting expert. So I will, with that caveat, I'll share just a little bit. And I don't know your whole situation, though I do know who you are and that this has been going on for a while. But I kind of wonder, and maybe you've tried this already, but I kind of wonder if your son might have more energy or sort of joie de vivre, joy for life, if he had a purpose. Like if he had his own place, would he be inspired to work to pay the rent? Like if he had more responsibility, do you think that would be helpful? Those are some thoughts that I've had. Is there something that he really loves to do that he, that if he could do for money or for, some kind of volunteer that would give him some juice, give him some energy, some feeling of contribution? So those are some thoughts. And I know you're probably doing medical stuff as well. So yeah, I just really encourage you to get a ton of support around this from professionals who know how to work with that, because that's definitely not my forte, but just some thoughts for you. And I hope that's helpful. Okay, last series of questions here. Someone says, how do we move past all the what ifs to what could be? Or how do we reframe them so that we don't let the past patterns or even responses get in the way, to be open to the possibility that the future can be different? And how do I learn to trust that changes are real, that the changes are real? So thank you for these questions. So I'm hearing the what ifs. So there's sort of the tuning into the negative versus the positive, the past versus the future. I love your question around what ifs versus what could be. And so usually when we're doing what ifs, we're doing the negative what ifs, the sort of futurizing and the catastrophizing into like all the horrible things that could happen. And we're all good at that. So just know that we're all wired really to do that out of protection and just survival needs. But the other thing you could try on when you notice you're in the negative what ifs is trying on some positive what ifs. So that thing you think could go really wrong, what if it went really right? What if I get exactly what I'm looking for? What if the doors open and I get XYZ, or we come together in this beautiful way? So you can start noticing the pattern, and then you make a shift in your own mind towards what you want, the what ifs about what you do want instead of what you don't. And it really is about retraining your brain, because we are wired for the negative. We are wired for think of all the bad things so you don't die, basically. So you don't get eaten by a tiger, you don't step in a booby trap or whatever. And that's good. And we want to just own that and know that that's true. And there's nothing wrong with us for doing that. But then to be sort of reprogramming ourselves, because we can choose to think about, well, what do I want here? And what if I get that? And just letting yourself fantasize, imagine, envision that could be happening and how that would feel. So that can be a great practice to start training yourself to look towards the good, the positive in your life. And you can do that just like I shared about appreciation for the second question. You can be creating appreciation in your life by appreciating the flowers, appreciating the birds, appreciating something that someone said, and really generating this positive energy for yourself. So it becomes more of your natural go-to instead of the negative side. So there's a little bit about that. And then, so you asked, how do we reframe them so we don't let the past patterns or even responses get in the way, to be open to the possibility that the future can be different. So I think I answered that for you. It is when you have a real set pattern, especially with someone, and you don't necessarily see them changing or trust that they want to change. And so you can only do so much on your side, and they have to do their part if they want to contribute to transformation. And so let's see, I'm gonna come back to your question. So how do we reframe them? So I talked about that. So we don't let the past patterns or responses get in the way. Yeah, it's tricky because if the past patterns keep repeating, then it is happening, then it is in the way, right? And so positive thinking only goes so far. So we can be continuing to have positive thinking like, oh, it's going to get better and he's going to change or whatever it might be, or we're going to get along better. But if no one's actually taking action towards that, getting some professional support, doing a training, whatever it might be that needs to happen, then, it might be foolish to think too positively if there's no serious commitment. So when someone's committed to the transformation, then it's different. And if you see them commit and take action, then you can be more hopeful than if you're just telling yourself a lot of wonderful things that don't have any basis in reality. So I'm adding that side to my positive thinking piece, which the positive thinking does help. But when it's about real transformation, there's more that needs to happen, right? We can't just think our way into being different. Let's see. Possibility of the future can be different. Yeah. So looking for real steps, right, towards what you're seeking. And then you say, how do I learn to trust that the changes are real? Well, trust isn't something that we just should blindly do, right? So if someone does something once and then we trust that will continue happening, that's not as solid of trust as when something's been happening regularly and we build a confidence in the change. So I would say trust comes with time and with repeated change or repeated action. So I would never trust somebody on first meeting because there's no basis in that unless they come with, all these other referrals or whatever. But I would trust when I have a positive pattern towards that. Someone's continually showing up differently. They're showing me they're changing. So trust when you're seeing the evidence that there's change. That's what I would say to that. And then we all have our capacity for trust. And so if you've been betrayed, especially deeply, you're not going to trust as easily as if you have had everything kind of flowing your way all your life. So just know that if you've had a real betrayal wound with somebody, it will take more time to heal from that. And especially say you're having a recent betrayal wound with somebody currently in your life, and you've had an earlier betrayal wound, then you've already been hurt so much, it's harder to get over that next one if it's happened again or in a different way. So again, trust needs to be built. People need to be patient with each other around healing that, and maybe trust in the healing process more than the person themselves, but trust that you can heal, you can get to a better place if you do your work and if someone is showing you that they are trustworthy. And how are they trustworthy? They're accountable. They're, they're keeping their word. They're showing up in the way they say they will, or doing what they say they're going to do, things like that. So I hope that's helpful. Those are my answers to all the questions I've received. So again, if you want to contribute and get your questions answered, please you can put them in response here to this video if you're watching on YouTube or in my Facebook group. And you can also look for me placing a new post in the Facebook group. Again, that's the Rock Your Relationships Sisterhood Facebook group. And I'd love to see you there and to have you participate in getting your needs met through the questions, through watching the trainings that I have available there. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can be abreast of other videos that are coming out soon. And I hope to see you soon. Have a great day or evening wherever you are. Bye for now.